All right, so I'm now going to be talking about how to do a more conventional lime plaster. I'm going to go over the different materials that you need, and then we're going to start mixing it up. For any type of plaster you use, you need a fine source of sand. It's great to be able to get a type of sand that's already sifted. This is a 30 mesh sand. This is a Olympia #2 sand. A little sharper sand, especially for a lime plaster. You ideally want to use a sharp sand that's going to help increase the strength of the mixture. This is a natural hydraulic lime. It's much higher quality and it's more expensive, but it's better for to protect your earth bench because it's breathable. So that if water gets trapped inside, it won't cause the plaster to crack. This is a NHL 3.5. It's just the rating of the natural hydraulic lime mix. There's NHL 2, NHL 3.5, and NHL 5. Ideally for a cob bench that's exposed to elements, you want to use 3.5. And just to explain a little bit about what lime is, it's kind of like a calcium carbonate mix. When we add water to it and apply it to the bench, after it dries, it'll harden and become a much more durable, waterproof, yet breathable plaster. It's generally frowned upon to use cement for an earth bench because cement, although durable, is not very breathable. And if you have a plaster that can't breathe, it will compromise your plaster and lead it to cracking. But if you add equal parts lime and cement together, the breathability increases 10 times the breathability of just using regular cement. So never use cement alone in your plaster. You always want to do 1 part lime to 1 part cement. So this is our more conventional type S hydrated lime, and we're going to mix this with our ultra conventional Portland cement type 2 cement. Stay away from any quick drying cement. By mixing it with the lime, we're increasing the breathability and ensuring that we have a durable plaster. And you're also going to need to add a fiber source that's going to kind of provide an interlocking mesh to prevent cracking. The 3 main types are straw. For straw, you'd want it to be chopped much more finely than this. Big pieces will compromise your plaster. Horse manure, which may be gross to some, is actually pretty much already sifted out fine pieces of straw. You can also use this in a lime plaster, but you'd probably want to dry it out. For a lime, a more conventional plaster, this is a nylon fiber source. Although it seems kind of counterintuitive to use little pieces of plastic, it's very important to have a fiber source to prevent cracking. Now that it's all kind of mixed off, I can take my mask off because there's no more dry materials I need to worry about. And now it's time to add color, the pigmentation, and also a fiber source. So for the color, I'm going to use this red iron oxide. This is going to be for the base of the bench, kind of what the line is sitting on. It's kind of like an earthen red color. And really the only rule of thumb with color is you don't want to add more than 10% of the volume, or of the weight rather, of your binder. The most important thing is whatever you do add, you want to make sure to measure it out so you can continue to add that same ratio of pigmentation to your mix. Otherwise, the color might change. All right, so now that I'm mixing, put my goggles back on, put my gloves back on. I don't need the mask since it's wet. I'm gonna start down with the initial kind of wetting down of the material to ensure nothing blows away. And then we're gonna mix this up and it should be ready to go. So now I've mixed my plaster. Ideally, you want to mix your plaster for at least 10 minutes. It's really important that you make sure everything is mixed up. You can see I like this color. If I was going for a more red color, I might add a little more pigment, but I'm kind of just looking for kind of a somewhat of an earth tone to provide the base of the lion. I like this because it's moist, it's wet throughout, but it's not super sloppy, it's not liquid. Think of the consistency of Jell-O when you work with this. That's a good sign, but then I'm still kind of able to form it into somewhat of a ball that can kind of retain its structure. The final test is you have your hawk and then your trowel. Get a little mix like this, smooth it out. And if it's the right mix, binding properly, the right amount of moisture, right amount of binder, right amount of aggregate, all mixed up together, I should be able to flip this upside down and it should be able to maintain its binding quality. And this is a great test to do to make sure the right water moisture, you have the right mixture of sand, of binder, everything's ready to go.